26th Bermuda Run Town Council meeting to order. We have a quorum. Jeff Tedder is on travel, but we have 4 members of the Town Council here today, so we do have a quorum. And if you are able, please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is the intent of the Town Council to make solemn the proceedings of this meeting and the business brought before the Governing Board to offer opportunity for a reflective moment of silence. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now, Mr. Williams, the town ethics statement, please.
Thank you. Pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 160A86 and 160D109 and the Town of Bermuda Run Code of Ethics Policy adopted November 9th, 2010, and further endorsed on August 9th, 2022, I would ask each of you before you adopt the agenda if there's any actual, potential, or perceived conflicts of interest with respect to any matter on the proposed agenda which will come before the Town Council for a vote at this meeting tonight. If so, please speak up and let the Council know at this time before the agenda is adopted. Thank you.
Okay, and next is the agenda, so the council has an opportunity to review the agenda. Are there any revisions, or do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Show of hands, please. Thank you. The council also has an opportunity to review the minutes from the March 10th meeting. Any revisions or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
And I'll second. Any further discussion? Show of hands, please. Thank you very much. So welcome, everybody. It is wonderful to see you all here, including some familiar faces. We have a very informative and timely agenda today. We'll be hearing from our own Davie County Sheriff J.D. Hartman. Always interesting and relevant, and can't wait to hear what he's sharing with us today. I understand there's something even about drones that he might be sharing. So will be different. Andrew will provide critical information on our 2026-2027 budget, along with other items related to some of the incredible work going on in the town, and we'll hear from our council members about what they've been hearing and learning. But first on the agenda is a continuation of our discussion from the last town council meeting about mayor transition and consideration of council appointments. This, as most of you know, follows the resignation of Mayor Mike Brannon at our March council meeting. And Brian, would you please provide some context for the discussion today?
Yes, ma'am. So as Mayor Brandon's resignation, of course, created a vacancy, and during that vacancy, you've been serving as Mayor Pro Tem. That vacancy needs to be filled. 168-63 provides that the council shall fill vacancies that are created on the town council. There's no mode of approval that's required or set forth. It's entirely the council's discretion. It just simply says that y'all shall fill it. So in discussions, we've talked about different ways: motion, second, a vote for a party, or if there are multiple candidates, a nomination and ballot method. So those are really the 2 appointment options that are available.
So discussion?
Brian, I think the statute doesn't place any type of time frame or time limit on when that vacancy is to be filled.
It does not.
Okay. So we can do it basically at our discretion at this point.
That is correct.
I would like to make a motion that Councilperson Ray be, appointed to serve as the mayor for the term as specified. And so I'd like to make that motion. Ray Nelson.
Second.
And
Discussion.
I'm wondering, I don't know if I'm officially still town council member. I don't know if I vote on this or not.
Just like you vote for yourself if you're on the town board, you can vote for yourself tonight.
So,
Yeah, just to be clear,
Yeah.
so Ms. Nelson will be serving as mayor for the board, well, at least through the end of the existing
For the rest
term.
of the unexpired
That
term.
was the unexpired term of Mayor
Correct.
Brannon.
Correct. And then this, whenever time for people to file for office opens up this summer, then that's one of the vacancies that, not a vacancy, but a seat that will be open.
So actually, that's right, filing periods for the elections for 2027 open this summer, late this summer, is that right?
No, next summer,
Next summer.
I believe, next summer.
Next summer, okay, yes.
Okay,
So we got 14 whole months.
okay, okay.
So there's a motion on the floor, and there was a second?
There's a second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion is approved.
Congratulations.
Well,
So, Mayor Nelson, I think it'd be appropriate or now for you to go ahead and do the swearing in ceremony if you so choose to.
okay. Get my glasses. Thank you. Okay.
I
Ray Nelson,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
I
Ray Nelson,
do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
I
Ray Nelson,
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and laws of the United States and Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor of the town of Bermuda Run, so help me God.
do solemnly swear that I will support and maintain the Constitution and the laws of the United States and Constitution and laws of North Carolina, not inconsistent therewith, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as mayor of the town of Bermuda Run, so help me God.
And I now, by the powers vested in me by the general statutes of the state of North Carolina, declare that the mayor, Ms. Ray Nelson, has been administered the oath of office and is duly sworn to hold office as mayor of the town of Bermuda Run. Congratulations.
Hello, Judge. I told Andrew you should make a grand introduction. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
And if I'll take that and sign it, and then you'll need to sign it?
Oh, no. Okay.
Just do this.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks again. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. And great to see some familiar faces out there. My amazing stepdaughter, Rachel Anderson, is here. And many of you know Carl Hagler, my husband, who's lived in Bermuda Run since 1988. And I just want to say that it is an absolute honor to serve with this team. And it's an absolute honor to serve this amazing town. And it's an absolute honor to serve at this particular time. Because I think we all agree that this is just an amazing time for the town of Bermuda Run, as long as we actively listen and engage in conversation with each other, and as long as we proactively, within the constraints of the law, do whatever we can to shape the future of our amazing town. So thank you very, very much. And next order of business.
Mayor Nelson, I'll address that, if you'd like. The appointment of you to fill the seat of mayor, of course, creates a vacancy.
That's what yes.
That needs to be filled by the exact same method, under the exact same statute that we just dealt with, 168-63, saying that council shall appoint someone to fill the vacancy. And Councilmember Guthrie, as you point out, no time limit, no constraints, no too soon, no too late. It just says you shall do it. So that's context. And that person, of course, would be appointed to fill out the end of your unexpired term.
Right. So, open for discussion. And I know I'm now no longer a town council person, so I am not voting on anything.
You only
but-
vote in the event of a tie, which is mathematically impossible.
Yeah.
Some of us are elderly, we could drop out any moment here, okay? So keep
Please don't
in
do that
mind.
and create another vacancy.
A
Please
tie is
don't.
theoretically possible here, Brian.
Yeah, so in recognition of the new vacancy, I would just give everyone a brief recap. Just back in November, there was 5 of us that were running for 3 open seats. Marty, Rod, myself, Carson Jernigan, and John Jones, all of which I thought were great candidates for these seats up here. And again, it come down to the community voted, and there was 3 of us that were elected. And I would say that in the 4th position that was not elected, Carson Jernigan, I feel like would be a great person to serve on this board. I've talked to Carson, and I know that he is still ready, willing, and able to do so. So in light of that, I would make a motion that Carson Jernigan fill the vacant seat for town council on Bermuda Road.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? We have a majority. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you ask for opposition?
Yeah,
You don't have to.
Opposition?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, council. Moving forward on our agenda, and again, thank you very much for just being so open in the discussion around this over the last couple of months. It's important. So I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Sheriff J.D. Hartman to our podium here, and this is an annual tradition, and I was just reviewing with the sheriff that he's been in service as in law enforcement for more than 30 years and in Davie County for more than 20 years, and this is his 10th year serving as our sheriff, and we're very, very fortunate to have him, and very excited to hear what you're going to say.
Thank you, ma'am. That actually should not be up there. But we'll go with that first. How's that? So, excuse me. Thank y'all for having me this evening. You have in front of you our annual report that's been out for about a month now. So I brought a printed copy for each one of you. You can take and review it at home for 2025. For the folks out in the audience, you can go to our website. It's on our website, and you can find the annual reports there for the last 6 or 7 years, including 2025. Okay? But I'm going to talk a little bit about a project, and this actually may take all of my allotted time. But this is a project we've been working on for well over a year. I asked my senior staff at the beginning of 2025 to come back and tell me where we are for the future. What do we need to maintain our ability to serve the public, to protect the public, and just to stay up to date with the county, with the type of crimes that are going on, et cetera. So I gave them 30 days to come back to me with that answer, and they came back and had 3 things. One was just to keep our in-house technology up to date, computers and cars, et cetera, keep that up to date. One was to look at and ascertain whether AI could assist us, artificial intelligence could assist us in any way. And the third was to look at a further development of our drone program. for those of y'all that do not know, I have several drones now. Some are training drones, some are operational drones, et cetera. They are assigned to a squad or to a division like crime scene units, depending. Crime scene unit has the most advanced, largest drone that does several things that assist them on crime scenes. Patrol squads all have at least one drone assigned to a squad. But what my staff and I had realized that still doesn't get you a drone in the air as fast as it needs to be. It's still a lapse for the drone to get up and running. So we started looking at drone as a first responder. Basically what that does is put drones up to answer calls with patrol officers. So it's literally the future of air support. It will work just like this. Somebody calls 911. The CAD system, which stands for Computer Aided Dispatch, if you're not aware, will take that 911 call. Our CAD system now is what they call next generation CAD, so it captures your GPS location and it geolocates where the call's coming from. It will auto forward that geolocation into the drone programs. The drone will then map it, will auto launch and start flying toward that call if it is the type of call that a drone would be useful for. As you can see, it would help us. We could tie that into the flock cameras that exist now in the county, or in the future, we could tie that into surveillance cameras at your bank or your local 7-Eleven type. If they choose to do that and choose to give us access, then they could do that, and that could tie it in with the drones, so you could use all of that technology to help you locate things. So that drone could be used to start giving you information before an officer can ever get there. So we then started looking at what the impact would be. We chose Flock because we already had a relationship with them. There are there's about 7 or 8 companies, major companies, that are helping do this with cities and counties. Flock still seems to be the best, most integrated for the technology. So that's where we've been. We've been working with them since we started studying the project. It is an impact analysis that we did last year as we moved forward with the project. So they came in and their engineers and their planners came and met with us. We met several times. We gave them all the data for the year 2024. Every call we had been to, everything we had done. And they took all of that data and correlated it into where drones could have been useful, the types of calls drones could have been useful, et cetera. So basically, we could get there for those types of calls, about 3.3 times faster than a traditional responding officer could. You see the fire department there, because as the project moved, we quickly realized that this was bigger than us. So the project now encompasses, there are 2 fire departments in the county that have drones, but what we looked at is a way to, or what we would like to do is find a way to cover the entire county. That's going to be a long-range thing, but hopefully eventually we'll cover the entire county, so we'll be able to respond to any call with a drone if we need to. That call, I'll give you an example of how that would work for us. So if we're in a chase, let's say, and a guy jumps and runs, right? Currently, the way that works is there may be somebody on that squad that has a drone, but If the chase is in Coolamy and the drone operator is patrolling in Bermuda Run at this point, then he's got to drive all the way to Coolamy, get the drone out, set it up, launch it. So you still are losing time and minutes if that guy has jumped and run out of the car. But if you have a drone as a first responder, as soon as the officer calls the chase in, the drone can be launched, can be flying to him, and can be overhead within seconds of him jumping or even beforehand, and keep an eye on him while officers get there and set the perimeter up, which increases our chances of catching him, okay? But we also realized it could work for a fire department. Let's say a fire department gets an alarm at the self-storage units over here behind you. If a drone can get there before the fire departments do, the drone can start feeding them information. We don't see any hot spots, or we see smoke in the back left corner, or those types of things. So Smith Grove would be able to, whoever's going to be the command officer that day from Smith Grove could start making decisions about the resources he needs for a fire before he ever gets here, which increases their chances of getting the proper things here, the proper equipment here, and the speed with which all that can happen to save property and our lives if people are trapped. Okay? So we brought fire departments in. We moved to, after the impact study, we moved to a fly day where they actually brought 2 drones and flew the drones off the top of the courthouse in Moxville for a day. I learned a lot that day, and we've continued to move forward with the project. But the impact study showed several things. This just talks about the capabilities of the drones, the benefits, which I just talked about to you. So this would be our proposed layout, or was our original proposal. It's changed several times since this particular proposal. This was the original presentation I made to the county in the first part of this year, right? So, there were 25,695 total calls that the sheriff's office responded to in 2024. Of those calls, 5,800 of them were classed by those folks as calls that drones could respond to. 4,398 of those 5,800 would be within range of a drone based on the maps you see there, where we would have the drones. Each circle would be the coverage area of a drone. 575 of those drones, or those calls, excuse me, I'm going to back up. 575 of those calls already had an alert from a flock camera of a stolen car or a stolen license tag or a wanted person, okay? So we would be responding to that. The average dispatch time for an officer at that time was 11 minutes and 6 seconds to those 5,800 and some calls, and the average time an officer spent on scene was 30 minutes. That was based on 5 locations and 5 docking stations for drones. So our expected response time in the same locations with a drone would be 2 minutes and 42 seconds, which is a 75% expected reduction in response times. And 95% of the time, we would expect the drone to be on scene before any live officer gets there feeding us information. That would be 4,398 based on those numbers that we just used. That's a pretty good reduction in getting eyes on a scene and starting to feed information. Most folks watch TV and see what cops do on TV, but the truth is everything we do is based on intelligence information. You know, it's all based on information. Who's doing what, when are they doing it, where are they at? So if I have a drone operator that's on the radio telling everybody there's a guy in a blue shirt, he's got a gun, he's walking around behind the house, think what that does to increase my officers' ability when they respond or get on scene to respond to that threat faster, okay, and more efficiently and more professionally. So as we moved forward, we've had several meetings, discussions. I have met with our federal representatives. We have planned and submitted a federal grant to help fund some of this. We have looked at doing a study, a live study. So that's where we're at now. We're implementing a live study. What you see there is a projection of what the study would cover. When you look at our call volume, our heaviest call volume in the county is the 601 corridor in Moxville, where all your restaurants and I-40 interchange and Walmart, and that is the heaviest call volume we get in the county. So we wanted to cover that. Originally, we were going to fly off the courthouse. That has now changed to fly off the county building. So we have moved forward. There should be, I hope, 2 drones active and flying for at least a 2-year test phase with the fire departments, with the Moxville Fire Department. We also have talked to other county agencies, for example, the Water Department. They hire a third party to come do inspections on their water towers and their sewer lines. So we've put a team together with those fire departments who've been developing protocols and policies for how all this would operate. And I think those between the 3 agencies that already have drones and any other agencies that decide to get drones and can join. But we would be able to serve the water department. For example, the county's maintenance department, when they need to inspect roofs and stuff on the county buildings, we'd be able to sign an operator to do that. And that could be done with the drones that we already have. And you would put a request in. The plan is develop an electronic request form. So say the water department director, he could submit that form. We would put that out. The Drone Operations Center would put that out and say, okay, which team, which fire department team, which sheriff's office team, what can handle this call or handle this event on this date and time. And we'd be able to respond and do that, which helps solve or save money for all the different agencies in the county, all the different county government, helps us function more efficiently and serve the public faster and better. At least that's our plan. So that's where we're at. The rest of this presentation is just simply, it shows you, this is the number of calls we have based on our zones. Of course, 6D Mach, 6C Mach are all in Moxville, so you can see where those calls were. We had 3,093 calls just in the zone 6D Mach. The county is divided up into multiple zones. The cities are divided into multiple zones, et cetera. So we also looked at it for fire departments. So this is where you have the highest fire volume calls. Again, it's the same zone where we have the highest volume, and that's how we chose our test area, okay? This is just a picture, and I'll try to show you a short video in just a second of what the drone actually looks like flying over Moxville on the day we had that original test. This shows you what a drone operator would see. It shows you their height, where they're at on the map, the road names. It actually will communicate, so you can see there where a person in communications is. Okay. I have it. There it came back. Okay. You can see in the center of the screen, Emily. Not sure what's going on there, y'all.
I'm sure there's a drone involved.
Yes, yes, exactly. Technology, a wonderful thing,
Right,
right?
exactly.
You got to charge those batteries on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back.
But there's part of it back anyway. Pictures. Oh, now it's telling me I got to restart my computer. Oh, well. Miss Emily is a communicator in telecommunications, so she's actually communicating with the drone operator by text and messaging, letting her know what else is being said while she's still on the phone with a 911 operator or a person calling 911. Let's see if it'll go forward anymore. So another thing we learned about how we can become more efficient is the 911 center has a backup center. Those are some of our partners agencies already that are working with us. What you see is pictures of the 911 backup center. So we were looking at different things one day and we realized that I don't have to have an operations center. There's an operations center there. It's a backup center that the county has 4 stations in that are set up, so if something happens at communications, they can go there and work there. County already pays for power for it, pays for internet, keeps it running. It has brand-new computers. Everything's sitting there ready to go. It is actually only used for communications. I think they used it 11 days last year. So most of the time, 98% of the time, drone operations could be done out of that. We've designed our drone system where literally one of my deputies could become the drone operator and fly the drone from their car and still do everything from their car. Be a little bit harder than it would be at a nice station like that, but we could do that. So even if something happened at the current communications center and they needed to move there within about 20 minutes while they're moving, we can get out of their way and everything can keep working and they can go right back to answering calls right there, just like they do now.
One question.
Yes, sir.
So that last picture there, if it's possible that somebody could be in that center controlling the drone from there?
Oh, that's where they would
That's
be
where they would
controlling
be.
them from, yes.
So I would assume, in addition to the efficiency, obviously, this adds a layer of safety too for the officer,
It
because they
does.
can see what they're getting into before they get there.
Yes, sir.
That's
A lot of study went into it and a lot of research. So I actually have watched a video of a city out west that was doing it. Their drone footage is out for you can watch it on YouTube. They actually were able to identify a man by his tattoo with the drone who had a gun and had been shooting at family members. And they were looking for him and were able to identify him from the drone by a tattoo on his neck. They could zoom in that close.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question about the resolution on these things.
It's
Apparently
unreal.
Pretty doggone good.
It is
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
impressive.
As you can see, we're actually flying, there you go, in Moxville. So we're zooming in. This was the first day that we tested. The drones we used in that test would not be the drones that are flying in our live test. Hopefully we'll be up and running next month. It's the new generation of drone that's even more capable than these drones are. But as you can see, this would help us at night, looking for people in cold weather, looking for heat signatures. They have multiple dimensional cameras that can help with the fire service when they're looking for hot spots. Even Mr. Lambert with the water department came that day and we flew the sewer lines for him. And they were showing him they can generate or see the heat coming if there's a sewer leak.
Yep.
They can show him where the sewer leak is in the woods just from the heat coming from the leak in the sewer lines. They can pick it out. this is us showing them how they were operators at that particular point was still flock personnel showing. But this is them looking at a water tower with Mr. Lambert that afternoon and showing you what they can see and do with it. I mean, they literally can get within inches and show you if screws are rusting and stuff.
Sheriff Hartman, another question while we're thinking about it. Do the drones, will they pick up on their cameras? Is that recorded anywhere and saved, or is it just simply
It can
see
be.
as you go?
No, it can be recorded and saved for evidentiary purposes if there's a crime.
Right, that's what I was
I
thinking.
typically probably would not save, I mean, at some point you generate how much capacity you need for servers and those kinds of things if you're trying to save everything. For example, inspections, unless, I'll continue to use the water department as our example, okay? Unless Mr. Lambert needed that video saved for some particular reason, I probably would say we wouldn't save those. Same with fire departments, unless they just absolutely needed a video saved.
Sure.
And keep in mind, what we're talking about here is the first responder part. So this drone would be there first, but then that would give you the coverage at the beginning of an event. If the event continued long-term, say a fire department fighting a fire at a factory in Moxville, let's say, then the other drone teams with existing drones, whether that's fire or my folks, could set a base up at the event, at the scene, and cover that with the current drones that we already have, which we already do. What we're talking about for the first responder part, or that would be new for us, is covering that first 30 seconds to 10 minutes, depending on how long it would take you to get a drone team there and get it up and running. Sometimes that's 30 or 40 minutes, you know. So you still could have that coverage during those crucial first seconds. And the ability to tie all this together instead of operating in independent silos, that's a problem in my world, always has been for the last 30 plus years, as fire departments operate in this silo, sheriff operates in this silo, police departments in this silo. Well, we're quickly becoming a place where Ms. Feeney and I had a conversation today about, you know, the cost of things and what it's costing to keep things operating. So you have to look for more and more efficiencies, which if we're all bringing together and we're all working together, makes us much more efficient, which helps us to serve the public faster and better. Okay? So if you've been watching, you could see, I mean, they could really look at a water tower as for that example. That's a sewer line they're looking at. I have some others I'd be happy to show you if you'd like to come visit, where we actually answered some calls, but the individuals we were dealing with are on video, and I'm not a big fan of using that for public. Yeah. But as you can see, they can see the whole sewer line running through there. If you watch it long enough here, in just a minute, they'll find a manhole and they can zoom in. There's the manhole. You literally can read the letters on the manufacturing stamp on the manhole. They can look at it with the heat. If it's leaking, you're going to see the. So. Yep. That's really my presentation. I'm going to escape that. I was going to talk a little bit about what's been going on in your county, if I can get that to come back up. For some reason, everything wants to act a little funny tonight. Okay, it's back up. So this is our CAD, computer-aided dispatch. This is current as of about 30 minutes ago. It updates about every 30 to 40 minutes, okay? So currently, inside the city of Bermuda Run for the year 2026, we've had 929 CAT events. That generated 79 full-blown cases, which is typically crimes. There were 1,343 sheriff's office units dispatched to those 929 events, okay? These two will show you what those events typically were. On my left shows you a broad category, the way they categorize multiple things into sections. The right shows you what it actually was. So as you can see, 223 of those 900 and some CAT events were traffic stops, okay? Your next highest was burglar alarms. And you can stretch that all the way out. If I pull that down, you'll see there's a multitude of calls all the way down to one little call for shots heard in Bermuda Run this year so far. This tells me who is answering calls in your city. As you can see, your community officer is the #1 person answering CAT events or having CAT events in your city, which is the way it should be. NA means that for some reason the computer system did not record the officer that responded. The next thing tells me how those calls come in, by radio, by 911 call. So as you can see, of those 900 and some events, only 141 of them were actually 911 calls, okay? This generally just shows you the time of day and the day of week when it has been the busiest so far this year. So as you can see, 9 o'clock in the morning is usually your busiest time, and Wednesday is your busiest day this year so far. This puts the two and combines them together. It just gives you a view where you can easily generate the hottest times so you can see when that's going on. As you can see, early morning hours, not a whole lot goes on in your city. This generates repeat locations. I'm going to make it a little smaller so you can see it. So anybody care to hazard, I think we've talked about this before, what 329 Highway 801 North is? It's your hospital. It's the #1 call location in your city. That does not mean that every event at the hospital is in your city, because think about it. If somebody gets in a fight somewhere, where do they come for help? To the hospital. And then somebody calls us, and we end up at the hospital dealing with a fight from Coolamy or Jack Boo Road or somewhere else, which is where the event actually occurred at, right? Okay. The next highest location is basically across the street at the Sheets.
I was going to say.
Yeah. And you can see that here. This gives you by common, what we call common name, so you can see the calls. You see NA is the highest. It always will be in all of our locations across the county, because the majority of our calls are at residences. So you have multiple residences we've responded to, and it's not going to record that as multiple calls. It's just an NA, okay? Those are the 3 zones that we respond to and track that are inside your city limits. So that shows you where those calls are divided out in those particular zones. And I use all this data to plan how our patrol's working, how they're responding to your calls, how many people I have on duty at a time, those kinds of things. Okay.
Sheriff Hartman, are you able to, year over year at least, see any particular trends as it relates to our corner of the world? I mean, I'm assuming these are mostly property crimes as opposed to
They are.
personal injury crimes.
You have mostly property crimes. You have
theft of some.
Quite a bit of fraud. Fraud is on the rise across the county. It strikes Bermuda Run typically hard. I mean, you were picking on me earlier before we started, but you have a older generation that is susceptible to a great deal of fraud, and it does hit you. Okay. Yes, but that's one of the things we do. Is we track trends. It helps me decide, do I need more detectives? Do I need more detectives working property crimes or violent crimes? Or this data helps me decide all that, okay? And we look at it for multiple years at a time to see the trends. The system is designed, basically just shows you where some of these calls originated in Clemens, Moxville, Winston, but they're all related to your city. We all respond to your city for some reason. This tells me every call. I can actually drill down to look at every call, what it was, what the actual address was for it, et cetera. And then this shows it to me on a map. So you can see it's pretty spread out around your city. The little green dots, circles, means there's more than one call within that little area. So as you zoom in, it'll give you more calls, and I literally can look at each one and it'll give me a number. I can click on it, it'll tell me what that call happened. That's what we call an other incident. That's typically somebody just in a disagreement or complaining about he mowed on my side of the property line, those types of things, which actually turns out to be probably one of the highest call types we go on. So that shows you that.
You mean generally like neighbor disputes, that type of
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, just general, yes.
Yeah.
So let's look at actual crime for y'all. Andrew, if I'm taking too long, you tell me. So if you remember, we showed that earlier. It showed you how many case counts came from the CAD. So there's your case counts. We took 84 reports. In those 84 reports, there were 118 crimes. In those cases, there were 190 people involved and 27 vehicles involved. So these three columns tell you, again, NIBRS, which is National Incident-Based Reporting System. It's the broad categories of how things are categorized by the federal government. The next one is how it was reported to our CAD system. Sometimes people call 911 or report things to our communications center that when we get there turn out to be a totally different crime than what they're telling the communications person. And then the last one, this block, tells you what the actual crimes were. So as you said a minute ago, our actual crimes so far this year, you've had 25 larcenies in the city. 10 are listed as NA, and I can drill down and tell you what those are. I'm not going to, just for time's reference tonight. 5 were obtaining property by false pretenses, which is a type of fraud. 4 were simple assaults. So those are your top 4 or 5 right there. Then I look to see if there are any weapons involved. Majority of your calls are no weapons. You did not have any actual calls where we took a full-blown report where there was a gun involved that we know of. This tells me the people, what they were, whether they were an offender, just the name was mentioned by somebody in the case, they were the complainant, a parent or guardian, etc. Just information that we keep up with and look at. This tells me what has happened with those cases. The majority of them, as you can see, are closed by arrest. One was with a juvenile. That means we know who did it. We basically closed them, but it's a juvenile. You can't arrest a juvenile. 3 others are waiting right now for warrants to be served. Usually means somebody's ducking us, or sooner or later they'll turn up, and those will move to closed by arrest. As you can see, 23 were closed unresolved. Those typically mean that leads, we used to call that leads exhausted. Like most professions in the world, every few years people want to change how you label things, but in my day that was called closed leads exhausted, because there was nothing else for you to follow up on. Okay. This tells me the types of vehicles that are involved. Just a general thing we look at. Again, these are your days and hours when your actual crimes are occurring. You live in a very safe city, truthfully. These tells you the addresses for where crimes are actually happening or being reported at. Again, if you look, the hospital's not there, or it's down to 4th, like we were talking about earlier. Majority of calls at the hospital do not generate or transition into crimes that occurred in your city. But the Sheets is a different story. Sheets is a busy place. Again, it just shows you which zones have your highest crime volume. I think you can realize just by looking at that 2 ABR is where Sheets and the shopping center is, and the hospital. That's all zoned over there across the interstate, and that's where you have your highest actual crime occurring. I would say the majority of your assaults, simple assaults, occurred at Rise. You can see there, people getting in an argument or a fight over the ball games down there.
I assume it would be possible to track the origin of these folks that are committing these crimes. Like, I'm thinking about Sheets, there's probably a fair amount of I-40 traffic folks.
There is. The number one thing that happens at Sheets is beer theft. They steal beer out of there like 40 going west. I mean, just, they do. And we probably identify and catch about anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 of them. You know, majority of them are usually not from the county, because they, like you say, they can hit 40, be over here, grab it, and they're gone, you know.
Right.
That particular Sheets, just, it's geographical location that close to the interstate exchange makes it easy, you know, it makes it a target. But then we also look at types of locations where those crimes are happening. Again, it lists everything that's a crime in the report, so I can drill down to the actual data, read the actual reports, and then it shows you on the map where those crimes are occurring. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. I don't want to take all night or all your time up and keep you here all night, but I'm happy to stay as long as you want me to.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate the efforts and the willingness to look at different technologies and to kind of look outside the box a lot of times and do these types of things and keep track of this. Yeah, I'm sure in police world, you know, this is not unusual, but it seems like there's a lot of thought and effort goes into it. So thank you for that. Thank you for your work.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We appreciate the support more than you know.
I just want, go ahead.
My question is town Bermuda Run going to get its own dedicated drone anytime soon, Sheriff Hart?
What are we going to call it?
So, you know, we really did look at that. At one point, we were looking at doing a test along our busiest corridor, which actually is Highway 158. And the best place to locate a drone that would cover Bermuda Run is actually up 158, about up where the auction house is, if you know where I'm talking about, somewhere right in that area. We actually talked with the owner of the auction house. He was going to let us put a drone on the roof at the auction house. But it just turned out that was not where we needed to be to test at the time. The reason for that is if I move it closer to here and put one in Bermuda Run, then half of my flight is where? Across the river where I have no jurisdiction. So you're wasting that, you saw that flight circle.
Right.
I'm wasting half of that flight circle and losing coverage in our county where we have jurisdiction. So there are a lot of things to look at with it. I have learned a great deal about drones that I never really wanted to know, but it is extremely interesting in how that works. And I do think that it would be of a great benefit to the county in the coming years. So,
Well, thank you for being farsighted with that. I think that is the future, especially with AI and the way it's coming on.
yes, sir.
I want to thank you for everything. I also want to recognize and thank Deputy Hobson, who's just such an integral and welcome part of our community. Thank you so much. Great to see you as always. And I was looking at your 2025 annual report, and thank you for this. In addition to everything else you do to keep us safe, it says on your last page that just in 2025 alone, your team participated in 116 community programs.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And just one indication. I mean, I go to so many meetings and they'll say, well, the sheriff's office was here and they were donating this and they were helping us with free fingerprinting, whatever it is. But thank you for being such an integral part of the community and coming back every year, and just really, really appreciate it. And thank you, Deputy Hobson, as well.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a great staff,
Yes, you do.
a great staff.
And I want to express my appreciation to Deputy Sheriff Hobson for bringing his better half. Kayla, you're welcome
true.
to come anytime. Thank you for sharing.
Better half is the proper description.
Thank you for sharing him with us.
Yeah.
Thank y'all very much. I'll get out of your hair.
Thank you. I know I'm going to be watching that recording and sharing it several times. Next on the agenda, is picking up on a theme from a couple of comments already. It is Older Americans Month. And I just want to give a little bit of context. So Older Americans Month dates back to 1963, when President John Kennedy met with a group of senior citizens, and they brought to his attention that at the time, senior citizens were about 17 million people in the United States. That was about a third of the population at the time, and about a third of them were living in poverty. So in 1963, Older Americans Month was established. Zooming forward, currently, we have about 60 million senior citizens in the United States. That's roughly 20% of the population and about 15% in poverty. So a little bit of progress, but a long way to go. So it is my pleasure to read our Bermuda Run Proclamation for Older Americans Month. Whereas, since 1963, May has been a month to appreciate and celebrate the vitality and experiences of older adults and their contributions to our community. And whereas Older Americans Month observance encourages communities to highlight the strengths, resilience, and diverse experiences of older adults while promoting opportunities for active and healthy aging. And whereas North Carolina continues to be recognized as one of the best states in which to retire, not that any of us would ever retire, ranking 9th in the number of people aged 65 and older, and 1 in 5 North Carolinians are projected to be age 65 or older. And whereas the town of Bermuda Run strives to be a great place for growing older while thriving within families, neighborhoods, and communities, and being supported to maintain a high quality of life. And whereas the U.S. Administration for Community Living has designated the 2026 theme for Older Americans Month as Champion Your Health, emphasizing prevention, wellness, and self-management, and encouraging older adults to take active roles in their health and independence. And whereas the town of Bermuda Run is committed to helping all individuals live longer, healthier lives, and our community can provide opportunities to enrich the lives of individuals, young and old, by recognizing the vital role of making connections with each other to support independence and combat isolation. Now, therefore, I, Ray Nelson, Mayor, first time I've said that, of the town of Bermuda Run, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Older Americans Month. So thank you all very, very much. Next on the agenda, I believe we may have a citizen comment. Is that correct?
We do, Madam Mayor. Former council member Linda Smith,
She looks familiar.
and I will, since it's been a while, read the rules for you.
Okay, go right ahead. Yeah, I gotcha.
Each speaker should be allowed until 3 minutes to speak, shall be stopped if his or her 3 minutes are up. Please state your name and address before speaking. The speaker shall address the council as a whole and shall not ask any verbal exchange back from council. Not to intend the public comment period to require the council to answer any impromptu questions. No discussion between the speaker and members of the audience. Mr. Meadwell will be the timekeeper and will inform you at what point. 30 seconds.
Be on the screen.
That's it. Thank you.
Good, ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Melinda Zeliga, and I reside at 187 Gulfview Drive in the town of Bermuda Run. I wanted to first and foremost thank the council for your dedication. I've been there, I've done that, so I know it's a lot of work. I also want to thank the staff because I know without their support, the town would not function like it does. So thank you all. I truly appreciate that. I know that the sheriff and Deputy Hobson have already left, but I wanted to thank them as well. And actually, we'll talk a little bit during my comments about how they're going to be involved with this event. Also wanted to say congratulations to Ray Nelson on being appointed as the mayor. So the reason I wanted to take a few minutes to speak this evening was to let everyone know, if you haven't heard, the town of Bermuda Run is, I guess, co-sponsoring, endorsing, I don't know what the appropriate term would be, a Patriotic Pause, PAWS walk on Saturday, June 13th. This is to commemorate and honor our nation's 250th anniversary and to honor Flag Day, which is the following day on Sunday, the 14th. We invite the entire town and our neighboring residents to join us for a feel-good stroll along the Blue Heron Trail. And this is actually going to start at 9 a.m. on that Saturday, June the 13th. We want leashed pets, of course, and want everybody to dress their pets up in patriotic attire. We have, at the Hillsdale Real Estate Group, we are helping to coordinate this event. And one of the things that I wanted to thank the sheriff, thank JD and Deputy Hobson was, and Andrew for thinking of this, we are going to have a color guard presentation from the Sheriff's Department. I didn't even know they had their own color guard. I believe it's 9 or 10 of the deputies, so they will be there and presenting. We do have a special guest who I'm still not naming, who will be leading the crowd and singing the Star Spangled Banner, which I did learn recently is about 1 minute and 20 seconds, because when I did a video, I realized it was too long for my video. Free flags will be provided to the attendees. Thank you for the town of Bermuda Run, courtesy of the town of Bermuda Run. The Hillsdale Real Estate Group is partnering with other businesses in the town of Bermuda Run to offer free commemorative T-shirts. And I actually have a flyer that, for those of you who are here, if you'd like to take that. We will be promoting this, and we started promoting this today on Facebook and social media. And hope everyone who is on social media will go out there, find that, and begin to share that as well. There will be free treats from Chick-fil-A, Sam's Ice Cream, and the Hillsdale Real Estate Group will also be doing pup cups. But that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. Wonderful. And now on to town managers FY 2026-2027 proposed budget. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight, I bring to you the fiscal year 2026-27 manager proposed budget. This recommended budget for this upcoming fiscal year is budgeted equaling $5,414,380,000. If you recall, these are the 3 funds that the town operates, one being the general fund, one being the gate fund, and one being our utility fund. The general fund, which makes up the bulk of this, is balanced at $3,266,530,000. Still remaining the property tax rate at 15 cents per 100 valuation. As I mentioned, this is balanced and prepared in accordance with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act, with a discretionary fund balance appropriated at $200,000 to balance the budget. This is something we have historically done in the past. So general fund revenues, what we have seen, we've seen an increase in our property tax collection, approximately $1,354,500, of which ad valorem accounts for 47% of that. But with that increased property tax collection, we've also seen a decrease in revenues from statewide to our sales tax revenue, our utilities and franchise tax, as well as interest income. Also, as part of this general fund budget, we are proposing a $14 per month solid waste fee for residential customers. This is proposed to help offset these costs that are related to trash and recycling pickup, leaf pickup, brush and limb pickup, and as well as our 2 fall events and spring event cleanings that we provide to our residents. The majority of all of our expenses represent a continuation of spends that we had last fiscal year. These are increases to previously budgeted items to, in terms of staff retirement, events, waste removal, leaf removal, website, street lights, and underground maintenance. But really, if you recall from our budget meetings and our last agenda meeting, we only really have a small amount that is really considered new spend. And most of this is for our communications, our chamber AV upgrades, as well as, and including this is our Lead for North Carolina Fellow. This is through the UNC School of Government. We'll be getting a student who's interested in public service, local government, for almost a year. We're hoping to get that student starting in August. So we're getting ready to start that program. But also, two kind of projects is the Bike Ped grant that we've applied for, as well as the start of our comprehensive plan update to get that process going too. So that's all included in the budget for the general fund expenses. Moving on to the gate fund, the gate fee is established at $716.46. This is a reduction from the previous fiscal year of around $110. If you recall, we estimated to kind of cover what that gate fee would be due to we were still in negotiations with the contract for that. There was a direction by this council that any revenues that we had would be put into basically a fund balance and be utilized to offset those costs in the coming years. What we're proposing is to distribute that money over a 4-year amortization timeline. This creates some stability in that gate fee, in which it will remain at $716 until the fiscal year 2030-31. This coincides with the next contract renegotiation with the current contractor, but it also accounts for a increase of fees for staffing in or other items. We've already accounted for that in that $716.46 for that. But it also includes some of those gatehouse enhancements in terms of the infrastructure, the physical structure itself, as well as new cameras for those 3 locations. The utilities fund, as we've discussed with our AIA study, Infiltration continues to be a primary issue and challenging issue for us. We'll have a clearer picture this coming June when we receive our final bills and/or revenues that we receive from Davie County. Excuse me. But if we look at what we've projected in 25-26 as compared to what we budgeted for treatment, we compared $793,250 for revenue, and our treatment costs were estimated at $585. What we're projecting for 26-27 is that our revenues, although increasing to an estimated amount of $955,000, we're estimating that our projected sewage treatment is going to top that $1,020,000 for our cost there. This is kind of due to an anticipated 6% increase on rates from the county. Again, this is all kind of dependent upon what the county does with this budget. So we're kind of waiting to see what they do, but from what we're understanding is that's what we should probably anticipate. But we're still wanting to balance our budget this way through an anticipated fund balance appropriation, similarly to what we do with our general fund. We take money from our fund balance to help us offset some of these costs so we can do some of our addressing of our aging infrastructure. Hopefully, as we start to kick off our Find and Fix program later this summer, we can start to address some of these infiltration issues. And if you recall from that study and the AIA study, that a lot of our infiltration is coming through our manholes, through open cleanouts, through pipes that are going through ponds and things like that. So getting those things addressed only help us as we move forward until we ultimately transfer this asset, this sewer system, to the county and let them take over full ownership and maintenance of that. So what is presented to you tonight is our budget calendar. Tonight, May 12th, is the manager's budget presentation. As we've done in years past, this is a proposed budget. A lot of work has already went into this proposed budget. More work is going to happen. So we're still proposing our one-on-one sessions to meet and discuss the budget with each of you between May 13th and May 29th, with asking council to go ahead and set the public hearing date for the budget for June 9th for the hearing and budget adoption. But I have to tell you this, that by statute, we're required to have a budget adopted by June 30th of 2026. That is to you. This will be made available to the public. Residents can come by and pick up a copy of this, but also we'll have it available online with the caveat, more likely this will change prior to the actual June 9th public hearing and or adoption by council. So I'll turn it back over to you, council. Mayor, if you have any questions.
Questions for Andrew?
Will we still be waiting on information from the county when we adopt our budget?
We will be analyzing these numbers probably all the way up to June 5th, 6th, and
Okay.
possibly even through June 8th.
Okay, so we expect further input from the county then right up
We
until
hope
the
so.
deadline. Okay.
You get a very clear picture, especially when it relates to the utility side. So.
Andrew, you mentioned the possible $14 fee. How will that be collected from the residents?
So that would be included on your water bill. This is not unlike what Town of Knoxville already does to that. So you'll see that as a fee on your utility.
Okay, thank you.
There's not any way to really project how much savings there might be for the Find and Fix on the sewer. It's just based on, of course, a lot of it has to do with how much rain we get. But just knowing that we are going to be doing some significant work, would you venture a guess on how much we might be able to reduce the I&I?
I think they're projecting on the low scale end anywhere from 65 to 70% probably in this first round, hopefully.
Okay,
Which is
that's significant. That's very significant, yeah. Yeah.
So, it will probably require, we try to do the testing, like the smoke testing, trying to identify.
Flow, yeah.
We're an aging system.
Sure.
We don't know what's happening to other lines in the process. So we're really hoping to do that. So that would be ideal to reduce
Okay.
that amount.
So the proposal is for a public hearing on Tuesday, June 9th, here at 6 PM during our meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second? All in favor? It just passed. Thank you very much, council. And then, Mr. Meadwell, item number 12A, approval of the FY 2025-2026 audit contract.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you tonight is the contract from Tony Brewer to continue his audit services for the town of Bermuda Run. This is having an auditor and an audit preparation is required by the local government commission. It requires you to approve this contract. Tony Brewer has provided staff with this information and would commemorate with what is done in the past. This contract is for $12,000, shall not exceed $14,000, but and the reason why that it's kind of that range, we really don't know what the full effect of the federal grant that we're receiving for the Community Project Fund that we are the recipients of for the improvements that are happening at Rise and at Fusion Sports Park. So to go through that process, monies will start to be spent out of that fund, so we'll have to reflect that in this upcoming year's audit. So my recommendation would be is to approve the audit contract as presented, and I'll turn it back to you.
Questions?
I just don't know, Andrew, how many years has Mr. Brewer done this audit for us?
Well, he was part of Eddie Currick's
Right.
CPA at one time too, so
Right.
for a number of years. For as long as I can remember being part of it, so several.
There's no, just for my understanding, there's no obligation that we do any type of open bidding on that type of service contract. That's just a negotiated contract.
I think part of the problem is that there's only a few of these type auditors that
Right.
perform for small municipalities, and when you get a good one, you try to hang on to those as much.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Motion to approve the audit contract.
Motion to approve the audit contract?
Second.
All in favor? No opposed? Thank you, council. And then moving on to town manager's comments.
Mr. Mayor, I'll be very brief. As I've tried to update you over the last several weeks, we still have not gotten our erosion control grading permit from Diener, phase 1 of the River Bend sidewalk project. We are down to one last agreement to obtain for phase 2. Hopefully we will obtain that this week. Very hopeful and positive in that. So probably what you will see is that these two projects will more than likely combine to do that. I know that there's still a lot of questions out in the community about, we've been talking about this for a while, right? So I think before we kind of kick off the actual construction phase of this, we'll bring our engineers back in, kind of talk to you about what has changed from our original presentation for the design, and present that to you and kind of give you an update on where we are, what it's going to look like, and what we anticipate with that. So that'll be all part of that contract approval before we start those phases right there. So do want to let you know a big thank you to the Bermuda Run Garden Club. If you haven't went over to the tunnel access for the Blue Heron Trail. They have completed their final plannings there for their pollinator garden. They just finished that last Friday. So really looks nice. So if you see Donna and the ladies, they did a really great job. And we have some additional projects that we are trying to coordinate and use their skills for some beautification of some of our areas in and around. So with that, Ms. Mayor, that's all I have.
Marty, Rod, Dylan, comments? What you're hearing, learning, anything else?
Well, I just want to mention that I had the opportunity to attend the North Carolina League of Municipalities City Vision Conference in Raleigh this past week, and very educational experience. Learned a lot about the things that the league is doing that helps cities and helps our municipalities plan and understand the rules and regulations and laws. And I will share more with at our agenda meeting,
Great.
more of the specifics, but it was very, very beneficial, and I look forward to sharing some of the information that I learned.
Great. I got to attend that last year, so I'll look forward to
good.
comparing some notes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I would like to offer my personal congratulations to you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your willingness to assume that position, and I think I am excited, as I know all the other council members are, to have your leadership and your vision as we go forward, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you. It's a team effort, very exciting, and thanks very much.
If I may take a moment,
Yeah.
I also wanted to explain my negative vote for the process of bringing Mr. Jernigan on the council tonight. I have nothing against Carson Jernigan. He's a nice fellow, and I think he will serve us well. My negative vote was more about allowing some time for if there are other citizens who may want to express interest, or even to conduct interviews of those who may have an interest, that this council be provided an opportunity to do that. Having said that, I yield to the wisdom of the other members of the council, and I look forward to working with Carson and everyone else. So thank you very much.
Ray, I'll say congratulations to you as well. Really looking forward to working with you, and looking forward to having a full table up here.
Yeah.
Jeff being back and Carson Jernigan joining us. We've got a lot going on and a lot ahead. Really looking forward to what we've got coming up here in the town. So ready to get to work.
Awesome. I just have two very short items, and one is just to promote our council series. You heard Sheriff Hartman today. We have coming up in June, Gina Taylor from Smart Start, and former Mayor Rick Cross will be accompanying her. Then in July, we're going to be celebrating our 250th, along with Tyler Dixon from the Hero Center, who's an extraordinary speaker. In August, Jesse Folger from Habitat for Humanity and Stephen Hearn from Stroll will be here. And then we're going to get into a back-to-school whole series in September. So you'll see these flyers around the community. Just wanted to let everybody know about that. And speaking of communities, we have ordered 250, is that correct, Charlie? 200 and something of these banners? No. That's not correct. 100. How many?
40 or so.
Okay,
They'll
okay.
replace the current seasonal banners.
At 250, I got confused with the 250 is. Okay, you're going to be seeing a lot of these banners around town, so we're excited about that. And thank you, Melinda, again, for the Patriotic Pause Walk on June 13th. We're working on a couple other exciting events, which we'll be announcing soon. And that's it for me. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
In honor of Jeff Tedder, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much, everybody.